Hello. My name is Brandon Hauff. That is Michael Massie. We are here, Michael. We are talking about Monday Night Racing, season 5. Your third season or fourth?
I've been in it since the start,
You've
man.
been in it
I've
since the
been in it
start.
since day
Okay.
one, race one,
All right.
Rockingham.
So we got a loyal competitor here. Um, but unfortunately, as we found out last week, didn't make Daytona through the duels. Um, I watched the duels personally. They were interesting, I'll tell you that. The LCQ, though, if you want to kind of talk about, you know, how you viewed it, what your strategy was, what didn't go right, you know.
Yeah. Well, to back up to the duels, that was one of those deals. I was riding around, at Daytona, you fluctuate between like four different positions. So I was riding around one lap, I'd be like 16th, the next I'd be 20th, and the transfer spot was 18th. So I was like, okay, I'm in a pretty good position. Then the guys at the front decided to get a little dicey and wreck the whole field. And yours truly got caught up in it. And I could not keep up with the draft after that. It unfortunately got taken out in an earlier incident as well. So that fast repair was gone. And yeah, bye bye me. And then in the LCQ, I was right at the top four advanced. I had positioned it so I was in fifth. I was riding around. Who was I behind? I was either behind Brandon Brown or Brett Baldeck.
I think it was Brett.
It might have been Brett.
It was Brett and Gabe, I think you were behind most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had up to the front, you had TJ Majors
Mm-hmm.
and Adam Cabot.
Adam. Yeah.
And they weren't gonna, I think they were content to just ride it out and move on. So I knew like I had to do something. I had to do something. And the whole time I'm watching Preston Pardis behind me, keep trying to make runs, and
Yeah.
nothing could get going on the bottom. But I'm just sitting there mirror driving, and man, I just looked in the mirror too much and just let myself ease on up into the outside wall. Next thing you know, I wiped out myself, wiped out Pardis. But still, thanks to the fast repair, had a shot, got right back up there. And this time, Gabe Wood and Pardis pulled out a line, and Gabe kind of did the Brian Vickers to Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson,
Yeah.
where he hooked Pardis right into me.
I noticed
And
that.
after that, once again, I couldn't keep up with the draft. The
Yeah.
thing was toast. So sad to have missed the show. As I mentioned, I've been there since day one. Was tied for second with DJ for the most starts in M&R history, but now DJ has got that tiebreaker over me because I missed the opener at Daytona. I was sad to miss it, but the show goes on, and I understand you watched that race. What'd you think about it? What'd you think
Yeah.
about Daytona?
So that's a good transition over to what we saw last night. I tell you, not many green flag runs, you know. Um, we had a lot of leaders, a lot of different guys up front. The three guys that really I thought were gonna be the three main, top three at the end of the race were gonna be Dale Jr., Parker Kligerman, he was up there a lot. Even Rajah Caruth, he was up front a lot, even though gotten some people's way, but um, you know, um, Malik Ray was up there for a while too. Coke driver. He showed some muscle until he got caught up in a wreck. So many different guys though, like throughout the race. Even though it was, there were like I said, 10, 11 cautions. I would say the favorite to win, at least probably by halfway, 3/4 through the race, was Dale Jr. As they always called him, the Pied Piper. It just seemed like everywhere he went, everybody was following him. Um, and I mean, not gonna lie, even though, there were a lot of wrecks, it was a really good race to watch and really entertaining. There were a lot of times they were three wide, and, with the next gen on iRacing, they actually just did an update today, but before the update, um, it's not often that three lanes work at Daytona, especially, just because, you're in that middle lane. and you got 2 lanes formed up and you're in the middle, even just with 2 cars, you get sucked back just because you're kind of in the sucker hole. Kind of like real life, if not really so much this year, kind of more with the Gen 6, I guess. But the middle just never worked. Yesterday they were able to make it work though. You had 2-3 cars be able to form up in the middle, versus like a 3-4 car bottom line. And they were able to, make a huge run to the front. Like you were able to go from like, I think there was one time a few people were like 10th, 11th in line, and they zoomed from just you tandem up there, and next thing you know, next lap you're the leader. But yeah, I mean, I want to say it's a typical Monday night racing race. A lot of guys, with the faster pair, you're able to be more aggressive at times. So that kind of factored into the early carnage, because by halfway, there were probably 2 10-car wrecks or so. The big one didn't happen until about lap 90, but the faster pair kind of throw, and that's been since day one, as with the faster pair, that you get it, and people are more aggressive because they know they can afford to use it. And once you're out of it, then you're down to like 20 cars at the end of the race. But yesterday, actually, there were probably about 30 left at the end, so honestly pretty impressive for the amount of wrecks that there were. But and we didn't even mention that Anthony Alfredo did win in a photo finish. Probably
Yeah,
should mention that.
the finish was awesome.
According to what he said on the interview, he said it was probably the closest finish in Monday Night Racing history, and I believe it was about 1/100th, I believe, over George Balfoun's. But yeah, it was Parker coming to the line, and I think you said you saw the finish, but
yeah,
for anybody that didn't, Parker Kligerman came to the line was coming out of 4 as the leader, and like a typical Daytona Talladega move, Anthony drafted up to him, tried to side draft him, suck him back. Unfortunately, it looked like Parker moved down, kind of clipped Anthony. They both went for they were pointed towards the infield, and then Anthony kind of hooked it back and hit George, and kind of got stuck together, and that's what created the photo finish. But yeah, I mean, it was a good race. A lot of guys, needed to start the season well. Anthony's locked into the playoffs now. I know that's one thing he mentioned in his interview, compared to last year, because I know he missed some races, but he mentioned how he just wants to go for wins now, and that's all he has to worry about because he's in the playoffs. And that kind of transitions us into next week.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, Michael. What's your I think we talked about this a little bit ago, but what is your most favorite race in the schedule right now? What are you most looking forward to?
Honestly, I mean, it's tough because there's a lot of good ones. I mean, Texas with the Radicals is always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know how they'll do the rules this year, but there's one time we did it where you could just run the infield pretty much. You could just run down the inside a wall all the way around. It was wild. But it probably the one, and then next gen at iRacing Super Speedway.
Oh,
that's a crazy one. That's one we did for the All-Star race 2 or 3 seasons ago.
yep.
And I was up there in the top 5 pushing Steven Ellis, and he blew his engine. And I had to take evasive action and wreck the field. But so that's a fun one as well. All right, I'm looking at the schedule here. Bristol Super Late Models, that'd be a lot of fun. But this coming week, Martinsville, in the Mazdas, the MX-5s. I'm excited for that because I like Martinsville. Some people don't on iRacing, I think, because you can just kind of it can turn into a wreck fest.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be some wrecks this coming Monday, but
maybe just a few.
Yeah. I feel like short tracks are an area in M&R where it's kind of an equalizer, and I'm not as great as like an Anthony Alfredo, but I feel like I can actually hang with those guys a little better when it comes to short tracks in the series. So I'm curious to see how that car races at the track. I've typically only really done your typical NASCAR stock cars at Martinsville. Haven't done an MX-5, so let's see how that goes.
Yeah, I personally have done some fun races with the Mazda on short tracks. I can say they're very slow. You won't be hitting, I think, like 120 like you do in a stock car or something. But it's an equalizer, that's for sure. I think there's gonna be a lot of guys compared to last season because the short tracks last season, I believe you saw. I don't remember what you guys did for short tracks last year and what car combo, but I know they did kind of equalize the field. Almost as much as a plate track, not so much, but almost as much. But what do you think your goal is for the next
Uh,
like few weeks, having unfortunately missed Daytona?
yeah, so now I'm in a points hole, right? Everybody's
Yeah.
got the jump on me. But no, I think if I can just so I want to get the goal is the top 15 at Martinsville. I think that's a good way to start the year. Then we get over to Watkins Glen with the Pro 2 trucks, and I am not a good road
I
course
feel
racer.
that. I feel
So,
that 100%.
so that's one where we got a cool new prize thanks to Toby Christie, where the last place finisher gets a DoorDash gift card. So maybe I'll aim for that gift card for for that race.
Might as well make something out of it, right?
Yeah. But then it's the Texas Radicals, and that's a race where I'm thinking, let's go for the W. I want to steal a playoff spot right there. Um, and then it's an off week. So yeah, nice little fun stretch to start the year. I really like this schedule this year. It's really mixing it up a whole lot more than past the last season, I think. So yeah, let's go. Let's get out this points hole.
Yeah, really. You're already ramped up, ready to go for next week, and we still got a good week. But
Uh,
we should mention Kyle Busch. He did pick, I believe he picked the whole schedule, if I'm not mistaken. Because Interstate Batteries is now the title sponsor, and obviously them sponsoring him. I believe they had Kyle, and I think he's gonna race a few times this year. I'm not sure. He
yeah.
didn't race last night, but
So there's actually a Interstate Batteries entry every week. So this past week it was Ty Gibbs. As the season goes,
mhm.
I think I'm sure Kyle will do that some, and maybe we'll see some other JGR drivers throughout the year.
Yeah, actually, I think what happened yesterday, the reason Dale Jr. was in the race is because Ty couldn't make it. So they had the promoter's choice and they gave it to Ty.
Oh yeah,
And yeah, and so he couldn't make it. And so I think they let Dale race. That was announced, I think, right before the race yesterday. So
yeah.
that's the only reason, because they weren't going to let Dale race, which I don't know why, but
Well,
I mean, Ty,
I think he was gonna race and then had something come up and then didn't like his schedule cleared last second or something. Because you don't turn down Dale Earnhardt Jr. when
no,
he says he wants.
nobody. That's like a
Uh,
sin.
yeah. Which yeah, the promoters' choices it was a little bit of a controversial area, I guess, just because those guys didn't, some of them didn't do the duels and then got in, but you can pull me out in favor of Dale Earnhardt Jr. any
Yeah.
day, I guess.
I don't think you're the only one either that would say that.
Yeah.
But being speaking of points, even though you're in the points hole, um, who do you think would you view as like the title favorite? I mean, you got a few guys, not just the pro guys, I can think of a few names off the top of my head that you don't hear of in the industry. Colin Fern in the league, he's really fast. Adam Cabot, the defending champion, he's really fast every week. And then you got the NASCAR guys, the industry guys, you like Rajah's always up there, Parker, as long as he runs a full season, Anthony, guys like that. But who do you think we're gonna be watching out for
Yeah,
all season?
so Parker has said he wants to run the full schedule. So we'll see if it happens or not. But yeah, if he runs the full schedule, I think he becomes the title favorite instantly because he's second all time in M&R wins most of the
Yep.
time. He really hasn't ran that many races in the league, but every time he shows up, he's up there winning. And he was joking in like the group chat afterwards last night. He was like, I guess I'm not going to win every race this season. So, yeah, but he nearly won that one. Other guys, though, Adam Cabot, obviously having just won the championship, like you said. And another one, Colin Fern should have been the champion last season. But Shane Van Gisbergen had other plans for him.
Yeah,
And
that was an interesting race, I'll tell you that.
Colin doesn't hold a grudge about that or anything.
No,
no.
no.
But and then the other one, David Schildhouse. He's one
Yeah.
that, not a pro NASCAR driver, but is very good iRacing, and that's who Adam Cabot had to beat out for the championship. So yeah, I look for those guys to be up there going for it again.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I know like guys like Dale won't run the full season.
Nah.
Obviously Kyle's not running the full season, so like guys like that. I'm trying to think anybody else, because the final four last year was Colin, Adam, David. Who was the fourth?
Was it Raj?
Was it?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
You put me on the spot now.
I know. I put myself on the spot because I'm like, I watched the whole thing and I remember it. And I'm like, I don't remember who the fourth one was now. All I know is that Adam won the championship.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Raj. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, and like I said, Anthony's already in the playoffs after the Daytona win, and that's one thing he wanted to get off his back after last year not being in it at all. So that's good. You yourself need to find your way in the playoffs, even though you missed the start. And I don't know about this league if they give you waivers or not. You did show up.
I attempted,
so they can't say you didn't.
Yeah.
So if they don't, I don't see why they wouldn't say you're not in the playoffs because you missed the race, because I don't think they do that. But I think you'll I don't know, what's your best points finish?
Oh, I have so the early seasons there weren't as many people and it wasn't as competitive, so I probably had like a 14th 15th place points finish in that first season. So obviously as the league has gotten tougher and more people have gotten in it, that my points position kind of plummeted. I was somewhere in like the low 20s last year. So yeah, it's not me getting worse. If anything, I've gotten better. It's the league itself getting more competitive.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, from season one, I've been watching, I think since like season two, it's just gotten more and more popular. You got so many more names running it, because when it first started, you had Ford, who started the whole thing. And, I think he just wanted a few names, and then it just grew into this whole big thing. And then, it turned into last year, they had the championship 4 at the Charlotte, what was it? Not the convention center, but wherever it was down there. It's turned into this huge thing. And, they even got like all these big name broadcasters to do these races sometimes. They had, I think, Daryl Waltrip sometimes last year, Larry Mack, Adam Alexander.
Larry Mack,
guys like that. Who?
Larry McReynolds.
Yeah. They had so many guys, and like, it's kind of wild, because if you think about it, like, probably without the pandemic, if the pandemic never happens in 2020, you don't know like where A, sim racing goes, or B, where this league goes at all. So, in a way, that's a genius move by Ford, just to start something like this, and look at what it's turned into, 2 years later. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the season. I know you are too.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy to see, like you're saying, how big this thing is taking off. Just started out with a bunch of guys just messing around on Monday night, having some fun. And now there's people selling sponsorships for it, and there's prizes. And like you said, there was an audience watching, which if you told me that a couple years ago, I could never have fathomed people sitting in an auditorium watching other people play a video game.
Yeah.
It's just, that blows my mind. But that's where we're at now. It's a big deal.
Yeah. And and it's like, just with sim racing in general, like, you see it with like F1 overseas, the huge it's like huge overseas with the F1 esports. Like, you know, you got all these big name teams, and that was before, you know, the Coke series decided to adopt the NASCAR team system where, you know, the NASCAR teams draft all these guys. I believe the F1 teams, you know, they had, I think back in like 2018 or something like that, they started drafting all these guys. But yeah, it's crazy. You know, Monday Night Racing kind of did this before any Coke series guys did. They have never done like an in-person race like that before. So it's kind of crazy that this league started that. I don't know if the Coke series is going to do anything this year with that. I feel like they might try. I don't know if they will, but you know, I'm looking forward to it. And I wish I could be there. You know, I don't live in Charlotte, and I'd have to make a special trip, but who knows? I don't know. I think it's in like October championship race or something like that. I don't know, but anyway, any final thoughts? Prayers?
No, I just um now I just everybody tune in for the race. Look for the old number 27 Frontstretch, Eric Bodwin, Chevrolet, or Mazda in the coming week.
Don't know our manufacturers of cars right now.
Yeah. It look different car every week pretty much. But yeah, just thanks to everyone that helps me out, and thank you, Brandon, for doing this and showing interest in the league. Tune in each Monday night, 8:00.
Yep. Next Monday night, May 9th, 8:00, Mazda's at Martinsville. Be there. No, you know what? Not be there, B Square. Just be there. You'll want to watch. It's going to be a good race. All right, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next week.